shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off. Man, it's an honor, looking like tiki masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need a seat breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some ape noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an anchor. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. POAPs on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana, been in since 2020, now go check it out, look at the roster, build a armada. I wanna shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off. Man, it's an honor, looking like tiki masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need a seat breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some ape noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an anchor. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. POAPs on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana, been in since 2020, now go check it out, look at the roster, build a armada. I wanna shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off. Man, it's an honor, looking like tiki masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need a seat breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some ape noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an anchor. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. POAPs on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana, been in since 2020, now go check it out, look at the roster, build a armada. I wanna shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off. Man, it's an honor, looking like tiki masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need a seat breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some ape noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an anchor. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. POAPs on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now.
God, that song gets me so amped up every time I hear it. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Solana ecosystem call. We're going to get going in just a second. Before we do, please let me know, where are you dialing in from? I see the chat's already going here. Shout out to my boy Noe's here. All my friends from Super Team Nigeria are in the building. I see Arian, Super Team Canada. Shout out to the Maple Leafs themselves. Kendrick shaking after listening to that song, says Pratik. Kuga, my guy, the legend. People calling in from Nigeria, from India, from Spain, from Bhopal, where my grandmother lives. Shout out, please bring her to the next watch party. Serbia's in the building. We've got Eastern Europe. I know with Bjorn's over in Germany, Kazakhstan, Colombia, Palestine. My goodness, look at this. Global. That's pretty incredible stuff here, folks. Love to see everyone from all over the world. If you haven't already, tell your friends to join. We're going to get started here in a minute. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a little favor, hit that like button. If you're watching on Twitter, do me an even bigger favor and retweet it so we get more folks out here, because this is going to be everything that you need to know to get excited about the Solana ecosystem. So if you, like me, are excited, that is the move to go for here. Shout out to everybody in Bhopal. I got to say, tons of Bhopal. My Nani is going crazy right now with joy. In case it's your first time here, I encourage you very strongly to stay until the end if you can. We got a bunch of fun things happening. We're going to do Overrated and Underrated with Raj Gokal. Maybe you heard of him. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do Not Financial Advice, which is basically a section where I talk about some kind of major themes on Solana, kind of give you a sense of why I'm so bullish, why I think you should be bullish too on the ecosystem. I don't know anything about the markets. We got multiple new bounties from different partners. We have a bunch of interactive quizzes from Chomp and from some other folks as well. Shout out to KAST. And we got the best POAPs in the game, folks. It is going to be a good one. Hopefully we'll keep getting some of these Cash #1. Shout out to Eugenio. Love to see it. I'd love to see everybody else here. Usually can keep throwing up the comments on the chat. We are bullish, says Super Team Germany, as I would well hope. We have some North Korean devs in the building as well. All right, let's go ahead and get this started officially. Hello, and welcome to the Solana ecosystem call. It is September 5th. I am Kash Donda. I will be your host for the next hour. But before we start, we got to play the theme song, right? We just got to, even if it is smaller today. There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Solana ecosystem call. Get ready for the biggest wins from August. Definitely not financial advice, a chat with Raj Gokal, bounties, quizzes, and more. With your host, Kash Donda, the Super Team Sherpa.
Oh, that's me. Please keep your applause down. I also like that that's Chase Barker's AI. He's working with Raj for years, still cannot pronounce his last name properly. That is hilarious to me. In any case, I see Raj smiling off screen. Listen, I'm a fellow brown boy. I know what it's like. Anyway, to everybody who is watching this right now, you must know one thing and one thing only. The only reason this call works is that it's not just me spouting bullshit for an hour. There's one swear already. And it's because of all of you in the chat who make this fun and interesting, add in your own jokes, insights, whatever else it might be. So please light that chat up. And I will say, if you're watching live, we right now have 80 watch parties all around the world right now. Can you believe this? 80 parties. It honestly freaks me out a little bit that there's so many people out there. Shout out to everybody at the watch parties. If you're watching live though, scan this QR code so that you can chat on the YouTube. I'm saying this now because later on, there's going to be a reason you're going to need to use the chat to win some rewards, and it's going to be fun. And I don't want you to get mad at me then and be like, oh, I didn't know I'm watching live. If you're watching live, watch on the stream as well. Oh, I see my guy, the only Nom. Nom is actually a world record holder as of today for walking the most number of dogs at the same time. I think it was like 48 dogs. So shout out to Bonk, shout out to Nom, shout out to everybody helping dogs find a good home. It's pretty good stuff. In any case, you got to join the chat to be able to participate in some of the things that are going to happen later on. So please do that indeed. And if you're watching on Twitter, hello from Twitter, that's great. Hit that retweet button so more people can see this, and make sure to actually click on the little text thing there so that you can chat as well. Otherwise, again, you'll miss out on some fun things that are going to happen. The chats are already going wild, and that's what we love to see. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to start off with the wins of the month. Wait, did somebody correct my pronunciation again? Cash learned it's Nom, not No. Yeah. Maurice, thank you, Maurice. Shout out to Lulo. You guys are mentioned later on in the call. It only took knowing Nom for like 2 years before I was able to fucking say his name right. In any case, We're going to keep on going here. The agenda is wins of the month. First and foremost, 15 big things that you should know about that happen on Solana, rapid fire. Then we're going to do over and underrated with Raj. I have 7 or 8 different questions, and we'll see, are they overrated or underrated, including some spicy ones. I'm not going to lie. Hopefully Raj is ready for them. Then definitely not financial advice, a new section on the call where we're going to go through kind of sector by sector and talk about some interesting things, some upcoming projects, and hopefully give you a clearer sense. It's hard to keep up with everything that's going on in Solana. So that section hopefully will make that easier for you. Then we're talking shipping season because, ladies and gentlemen, on Solana, every season is shipping season. So we got some cool updates there. We're going to do a caption contest. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about this. Never done this before. Hopefully the chat kind of brings the energy. I see Ellie's in the chat, which I know will bring the energy and bring some comedy. We'll have a little bit of a giveaway around there. That's why you need the chat. Work to earn, some great earning opportunities, some reading recommendations as well. And then we're going to end with a Chomp quiz. Shout out to Chomp, Super Team Project. KZ is the best. I love you too. Seriously, I see you in the chat here. Oh, and PayFi's here from London as well. I feel like all my homies are in one place right now. This is pretty great. Anyway, without any further ado, we must shout out all the watch parties. As I said, there are 80 of them right now happening all around the world. So basically, I forget how many countries it is, but it's a lot of countries as well. And it's, I think, 4 or 5 continents, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to the Solana community all over the world who helps make this all happen. Pretty incredible stuff. W, Super Team in the chat. All right, let's get into it. I can't keep Raj waiting so long. Let's go into the wins of the month for August. Yeah, for August, I guess. I'm not great with the calendar, folks. Don't blame me. All right. We're going to start off with a section called Welcome to Solana, where we welcome the people who have come over to Solana from all other parts of the world. That is the real goal here. The sun never sets on Super Team. Win number 1. This is a fun one. Please drop a little W in the chat for me if you're as excited about this as I am. Binance, BitGet, and Bybit, which are, despite the names, 3 separate centralized exchanges, have all been LST-pilled and will be launching liquid SOL tokens. Here's why this is a big deal. When you stake your SOL, you help increase the decentralization of the network and the economic security of the network, especially if you're allocating to smaller validators, which is great. But the thing is, it's mostly people on-chain who are doing that, right? And the number of users who use centralized exchanges will always be large, well, not always, but is right now larger than the number of people on decentralized exchanges. And so when these 3 companies, with their literally tens of millions of users globally, maybe hundreds of millions of users globally, open up liquid staking, I think that's going to bring a lot of interest and attention to Solana, along with some more security, some more decentralization to the network as well. So this, to me, is a W, as the chat is already ahead of me on. I think that's pretty great. Shout out to Sanctum and the exchange teams for making this one happen. Win number 2, Solana handshake emoji with the Finternet. This is a really big deal. And I think it's hard for people to appreciate outside of India why this would be such a big deal. But the Finternet is a vision for a future financial system that has all these kind of smaller autonomous financial systems hooked together, powered by public blockchains. This is a dream that a lot of people in crypto have talked about for a while. What's different here are the people who are talking about it now. Augustin Carstens, I hope I didn't mispronounce that, leads the central bank of all central banks, right? He is like the main central bank guy. Big deal. And Nandan Nilekani is like he's like the Bill Gates of India in some kind of ways, right? He's a billionaire, started Infosys and done a bunch of other really important things. So to have stakeholders of this caliber pushing forward this vision is a major step forward for decentralized finance of all sorts, even more so. Because in their demo, which chain did they use to demonstrate the power and the potential of these public ledgers? You already know. Shout out to Solana. Big shout out to Shek Dev in particular from Super Team India, who put tons of time and effort into making this happen, along with Irfan and Dhruv on the dev side, and Aditya Shetty as well, all from Super Team India. That's a W if I ever done see one. Can we get a little shout out Shek in the chat as well? I see Suhail's already doing it. I know a bunch of other folks are as well. Big deal here, folks. And if that's not enough, if this has got you kind of interested or excited and you want to build out the future of international commerce, international finance in general, there's a new grants program over on Super Team Earn where you can apply to help make this happen through code, through content, through community, or anything else that you might have in mind. Go check that out. You'll get deeper into it over there. Up on Super Team Earn right now. All right, win number 3, Athena Labs, USD is now live on Solana. This is one of the largest stablecoins in the world, originally from the EVM ecosystem, now expanding to Solana because Solana is home for stablecoins. Really cool mechanism here. The stablecoin is balanced by delta neutral positions on perpetual exchange positions, basically on centralized exchanges. If you've been in Solana for a little while, you might remember UXD. There's something kind of similar between these protocols, and we love to see more options coming on to Solana here. So shout out to the Athena and Layer 0 teams for coming over. Win number 4, you already know that Solana is the best chain for all DePIN applications. This has been reinforced time and time again. I'm going to reinforce it one more time here as well. XNet, which is kind of like a Helium competitor. They do Wi-Fi hotspots and telecom hotspots all over. They are now on Solana, which is great because they've chosen the chain of choice for DePIN projects. Anchorage has also now come over to Solana. Anchorage is one of the biggest kind of institutional players in the space. And now their self-custody wallet, Porto, is going to allow you to engage with all sorts of protocol level activities like staking, trading, in a safe and compliant manner, which is pretty great. So Anchorage, shout out to them for coming over as well. The chat is keeping up. I can't even read all of it. I can only see my guy Farhaj from Formo over there. Shout out to Farhaj and everybody else who's on there. Oh, and the old Super Team interns in the chat. I'd love to see that too. And then win number 6, Dawn, is another DePIN project that has come to Solana, building decentralized broadband. They had a massive raise. They raised $18 million, just a super cracked team solving a very real problem. That, something like 52%, if I'm not mistaken, of Americans have access to high quality internet, and that number is even lower in the rest of the world. A decentralized DePIN first approach might be able to solve that. Only time will tell, but shout out to the Dawn and the Adrena teams, who is the kind of holding company behind it. The ultimate goal here, lower prices, more inclusivity, more people earning and building together. This is all happening on Solana, folks. It's not just meme coins. Nothing wrong with meme coins, but we got plenty of other applications coming over here as well, creating real value for real people in the real world. There we go. All right, let's talk about some shipments, because what we do on Solana, we ship things, folks. We keep things moving. First, Helium, their carrier offload is now live in beta. This is so cool to me, right? Because it's one of those, like, first they laugh at you and then they whatever. You kind of slowly gain more legitimacy. Helium seemed crazy to some of the telecoms before. How will you ever compete with us? We've put in billions of dollars in CapEx to build these networks. Helium said, just watch, taking a DePIN first approach. And now other carriers can offload excess traffic onto the Helium network. That's how strong it's gotten. This has already happened for 756,000 times up to date, with more than 19 terabytes of data going through Helium. This is pretty sick. Again, this is crypto infiltrating the real world and supporting the real world, creating real value in the real world. So my guy, Abe, Amir, and the rest of the Helium team, shout out to you. Also, quick side note, makers of the best baby merch in all of crypto. Shout out to Helium for sending me a little package for my daughter. Win number 8. Prediction markets are live on Drift. Has anybody used Drift right now? Can you put bet in the chat if you have? Let me know. A few folks have, I think. Shout out to Drift. Prediction markets, obviously a big topic this year, especially with the American elections. Polymarket, one of the most used crypto applications out there right now. But that's on Polygon. Now we've got a very, very nice product here on Solana as well. Importantly, it's capital efficient, which means your bets will actually accrue yield while you're placing them. So it makes it an even more preferable place to start to put forward your bets. They did $20 million in volume in just a 24-hour period last month. Really starting off with a bang. Shout out to Cindy, David, the rest of the Drift team as well. Anybody else is doing it. Prepare to see a lot more prediction markets, folks. This is just the beginning. Win number 9, this one I'm doubly excited for. OR V2 shipped. Are there any people who mine OR in here? Can you drop a little OR in the chat if this is you? Because I would love to know. OR is, as some people might know, the OR V1 came out, let's call it 5 months ago, and led to some problems on the network. A little bit of congestion. Maybe you remember. Well, OR V2 is live and did not affect the network in any meaningful way in terms of congestion or whatever else, which we love to see. OR is a proof of work coin. They won the global hackathon last time around by Coliseum, the Renaissance Hackathon. Hard hat Chad is a Chad. And shout out to everybody else over there. Very cool, kind of novel approach to building a new token on Solana, going back to the proof of work days. But fair launch, anybody can get involved. And then win number 10, shout out to the homies over at Magic Eden. Their wallet is now live on Android and iOS. They're doing a bunch of really fun things over at Magic Eden. Shout out to Tiff and everybody else over there. They got Mintfest. They have a $100,000 prize pool from Whiff, Michi, and many others. And their wallet and their whole kind of positioning now is to help cross-chain dApps, which hopefully will bring more volume over to Solana as well. And oh, what's this? We have a little celebration bounty. So shout out to Magic Eden on this. A $5,000 bounty for folks to write threads about how you got into NFTs and how NFTs changed your life. That is the kind of goal. Go check that out on earn.superteam.fun. This is to celebrate their new token, ME, which is going to be powering the #1 cross-chain dApps ecosystem for digital assets. So shout out to Magic Eden. We love to see them putting money into the hands of the community. W Bounty is exactly right over here. Okay, let's go into the final section of this right now, which is around doing numbers. This is all around some big numbers that have been coming through. Number 11, excuse me. The blinks keep on coming. Blinks, love it. One of the coolest things to happen in crypto, in my opinion, in quite some time. There are now 360 of them that are live. These allow you to interact with Solana directly from your Twitter feed right now and from many more places coming up very soon. Special shout out to Blinkathon, which is done by the Send team, community-run hackathon that shipped more than 101 projects in a 7-day period. 70 teams participated. This is super cool. Blinkathon W, I see in the chat. Well deserved. This is super fun. Shout out to Dialect, of course, who's pushing this forward along with the Solana Foundation. Number 12. This one was a little surprising to me. That's actually why I wanted to include this. NFT markets, they're getting lower. Let's just be honest. The NFT markets, will they make a comeback? I sure hope so. But they haven't had as much action as some of the other markets had recently. And yet, creators on Solana are doing all right. In August, the last 30 days, NFT royalties were highest for Solana creators across all different chains, which I think is an interesting thing to know, particularly if you're a creator or if you're trying to get a sense of where the world is going. This is no surprise, given just how easy it is to create assets on Solana and push them forward. Very excited about this one. Shout out to Solana Floor for driving this insight for us here. Solana is for the artists, says Farhaj. The dead may never die, says Maurice. Yes, that is absolutely right. Win number 13, Sonic, which is a gaming L2 on top of Solana, hit 1 million active wallets during their testnet launch. This is pretty incredible. They had 10 games launched with 80,000 concurrent real-time players playing on-chain games. This is pretty sick, folks. I think Web3 gaming has obviously had a difficult journey so far. It's been hot, it's been cold, it's been hot again. But this is one of those things that you love to see. People actually being able to use on-chain gaming to do lots of transactions very quickly. I think this is super cool. So shout out to Chris and the rest of the Sonic team for pushing this one forward. More than 1 million wallets participated in this odyssey to begin with. And then the penultimate win here, Super Tokyo, one of the largest community-run conferences that we've had. There's been a few really great ones. Solana Crossroads has been awesome. Solana Summit has been awesome. All of the startup villages that are happening around the world. Super Tokyo, another great one. The first kind of major one over in Japan. Shout out to my homies in Super Team Japan, Hisashi and the gang. Nearly 1,000 attendees, largely builders and founders doing workshops with a bunch of great ecosystem teams. This one was super cool to see. And then finally, the last one, as I lose my breath and my voice starts to strain here, 7,000 plus registrations from 145 countries for the Radar Global Hackathon. Folks, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Solana Global Hackathons are one of a kind. They are the easiest way, easiest in quotes, to change your life dramatically if you are a builder. Whether you're new to Solana or have been here for a while, this is where some of the best Solana projects are born. And it's the easiest way for you to start to learn and find a team, build your proof of work. There are $600,000 in main track prizes. And up to 15 teams will get added to the Coliseum Accelerator, where they'll get a $250,000 investment, as well as much more help as well. So big shout out to Coliseum, super teams all around the world, and all the builders who are making this happen. But maybe you heard that and you were like, 600K? Cash, that's nothing to me. I won't get out of bed for anything less than 800K. Well, here's the good news for you. There are more than $250,000 worth of sidetrack prizes as well. So if you want to build and you're still not exactly sure where you want to go, I see Imperfect from Streamflow is in the chat right now. Imperfect has, or I should say Streamflow has, a sidetrack around aligning token incentives. You can see there's another sidetrack from the Sonic folks that we just talked about as well. Kudos, which has a healthcare ring. I have a Kudos ring and I dropped it and can't find it right now. They have a sidetrack to build healthcare related applications. Metaplex, people already know, building the future of digital assets. If you want to do cross-chain stuff with data, go check out this internet track. Sollayer, if you're into restaking, Octo's got their own SDK for their own wallet. Mercurio, best payment or best consumer use cases with payments. Soulflare, you already know, it's a demo day one for the super teams. And then Reclaim is one I'm particularly excited about. Reclaim allows you to generate ZK proofs of any off-chain data and bring that on-chain, like your bank balance or your Uber rating or how many Tinder matches you have, which can enable all sorts of cool new applications, I think, that are fully driven on-chain. So shout out to everybody doing these sidetracks. Dremel says founder mode on, and he is not wrong. Jeez, my throat is already very sore. Pause. I think we're going to have a bunch of good wins coming ahead in the month ahead. Did we miss anything, chat? Is there anything that I missed during the course of this call already? Nobody here has Tinder matches, chat. Cash says Abhishek. Yes, that might be true. Kuga, I've never seen him go through that fast. That's because we got a lot of stuff to go through, and I'm very nervous about ending on time, which is something I'm trying to do. Cash, drink some water. Yeah. Cheers. Actually, you know what's even better than water? A little bit of Red Bull. Shout out to Red Bull. All right. Let's keep it going then, folks. That is the wins of the month. A bunch of reasons to be excited about Solana, if you ask me. Where we want to go next, of course, though, is to talk to the man, the myth, the legend. He's been all over your timelines lately. I don't know if you want to call them thirst traps or just flexing is probably the best way to put it. Can you please drop a little GM in the chat for me for the co-founder of Solana itself, Mr. Raj Gokal. Raj, how are you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm exhausted already, and we're only 20 minutes in, brother. But otherwise,
You're on fire. Love it.
Shout out to everybody. The GMs are flooding the chat. Raj, the game I wanted to play with you today is a little bit of overrated, underrated. I thought this might be a nice way to do a kind of structured approach to how you think about some of the big topics that are there on Solana right now. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So we're going to run through a list. I'll throw out a topic. We don't have to go super fast. You know, we have another 10, 15 minutes here. But let's start off with ZK compression or generalized compression. Overrated or underrated?
Yeah, I'll go with underrated. You know, I think it's a huge step forward, drastically reduces on-chain storage costs, like 99%. You know, you can make like 100 compressed token accounts for 0.0004 SOL, which is down from 0.2 SOL. It's like a 5,000x reduction. So, and then, you know, you can do this while you're maintaining synchronous atomic composability and concurrency. And so I think this is as big a step forward for, you know, tokens and airdrops as compressed NFTs were for NFTs. And compressed NFTs really kind of melted everyone's face, and nobody really saw what was coming when that launched. And that allowed for new models like Drip to launch. I think the amount of product entropy that can play out with ZK compression is still hard to forecast, and it's going to be really explosive for the ecosystem. So really excited to see a lot of startups take advantage of it, yeah, I think it's a huge leap forward. Underrated.
Underrated. All right. There are some pushback that people will give, like, oh, this is like an L2, or oh, it's not decentralized, or oh, it's off chain. What do you say to the people that say ZK compression is overrated?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, there are a lot of little hard design choices that get made to preserve Solana's you know, main value proposition, which is a seamless user experience. And as long as that user experience is basically indistinguishable from whether they're, you know, using regular token accounts and using things that are, you know, not super powered by compression, I think it's still true to the kind of design philosophy of Solana. And, you know, we see the same thing with compressed NFTs. Users don't know the difference. They love it. The big difference is the new business models that are enabled by it.
Got it. All right. Pretty persuasive to me, I will say. Let's go to the next overrated, underrated here. This is actually, in the last few days, this has gotten a lot of traction on Twitter because Iggy Azalea and Eric Wall are going to be debating this at Breakpoint. So before they do, let's hear what your opinion is. Celebrity coins on Solana, overrated or underrated?
I'll have to go with overrated. And I think that's a function, you know, not of the things that class of product brings to the network and to the ecosystem, but more just that people can't seem to stop talking about it. And you know, so the mind share is so high of, you know, celebrity coins and meme coins that I think it outstrips the value in terms of, you know, bringing more mainstream adoption to the ecosystem. And you know, there are lots of innovative, you know, fan engagement and tokenization models that get pushed forward. I think those get kind of downplayed when people talk about celebrity coins and meme coins on Solana. I know that, you know, Iggy Azalea, for example, has all of these different businesses and products that she's accepting that token for. And she's throwing concerts where all of the fan engagement and discount models are only accessible if you use the token. I think it's cool to see celebrities kind of learn from the mistakes of people who are really truly tourists. But again, I'm still going to have to go with Overrated, because I just think the mind share really overshadows some of the other use cases, like in DePIN and consumer on Solana, and especially DeFi, that have been building for many years, and I think deserve that limelight as well.
I appreciate it. In the chat, by the way, if you're watching this right now, let us know what you think as well. Are celeb coins overrated or underrated? And we kind of play along and see if Raj is in the majority or the minority for some of these things. All right. Well, let's save it for this next one here. Is another like hot debate right now. L2s on Solana, or possibly network extensions, as some people are starting to call them. I can't even keep track of all this here. Both to the chat and to Raj yourself. Overrated or underrated? L2s on Solana.
I'm going to say overrated. I think that if there weren't a few teams that used the word L2s to, kind of position themselves and get more mind share in a very in a very noisy, crypto market, nobody would be talking about these things. I think they're implementation details of bringing computation off chain, or providing configurability and customization to the functionality that mainnet already provides. And I think that really kind of muddies the perception of what's being built here, because the word L2 with Ethereum is largely a function of scale. Like Ethereum wouldn't have had L2s so early if L1 was not a consumer grade, scalable, cheap, fast user experience for consumers. Solana L1 is consumer grade, and it continues to be. What people are using, network extensions for is to add customization to their product. There is some risk that you run into some of the same issues as L2s on Ethereum, like fragmenting liquidity and user base. But I think similar to what's happened with compressed NFTs and what I expect to happen with ZK compression, the seamless user experience is something that is prioritized by core network engineers, app developers. I think nobody wants to break that as they use this new configurability of network extensions. So I think that's why it's taken so long for something like this to happen on Solana, is that there is this sacred flame of user experience that nobody wants to break. And again, I think the narrative about whether they should be called L2s or network extensions has overshadowed just the new products that are possible with things like ephemeral rollups and network extensions for privacy and all these other things. So I'll say overrated, but again, there's a lot of nuance to that.
Of course, that's what I'm trying to get the clickbaity headlines out of you. Raj says that everything is terrible. That's
you're gonna get me ripped apart on Twitter if you edit this the wrong way.
If you're watching this and you're an editor, please edit it out of context. No, actually, that's a joke. But chat, okay, L2s a little bit overrated here. Let's say this then. So how about, you were talking about L2s on Ethereum, like maybe have some kind of purpose because the base layer doesn't really scale, right? So how about ETH L2s that use the SVM? And here I'm thinking of like Eclipse or Soon or some of these projects. Would those be overrated or underrated? Chat, that's a question for you as well. L2s that use the SVM, overrated or underrated?
Well, before I give my answer, let me start by saying I think it's good that they're being built. It was sort of inevitable that that design space, in terms of taking SVM, all the work that goes into optimizing for performance that Solana has done, but then trying to access liquidity and users on in the Ethereum ecosystem, and also fall within sort of the halo of Ethereum alignment. It was inevitable that people would try to do that. It's Solana's the most viable and successful and fast growing ecosystem outside of Ethereum. Ethereum for many people is still kind of the default. So that marriage was bound to happen. And I think the positive benefit is more proliferation of SVM. Wherever there are developers that are onboarding to crypto, if they get exposed to SVM, with every other constraint and consideration that they have being satisfied, that just strengthens the network effects of SVM and the development ecosystem for SVM. So that's good. I would still say though that I'm going to give it an overrated, because I think they're going to be facing a lot of competition from established Ethereum L2s and rollups that are much more aligned. What you see in Ethereum is, if you don't fall within this very clear circle of alignment, you're not part of the religion, and you're going to be fighting against people that really align with the religion. I think Base, Optimism, Arbitrum are very clearly aligned, and it's hard to see an SVM roll up entering that circle with them, sort of culturally and religiously. And Ethereum is still a very religious ecosystem. Solana is very anti-religious, and so it's going to be hard for people to kind of straddle that boundary. I think it's also going to be really hard to fully replicate Solana's performance on Ethereum with L1 without making huge sacrifices. So you're going to run into the same issue as Bitcoin L2s and other Ethereum L2s. They are constrained by the base layer unless you make huge decentralization trade-offs. And so I think what we already see is developers, when they really kind of go through this calculus, can't really justify building on these L2s instead of mainnet Solana.
Gotcha. Another nice, very nuanced answer. I will say, from my own kind of like casual conversations, it does seem like the Ethereum folks see it as like a wolf in sheep's clothing almost, right? So there is indeed this it's kind of like ideological purity test that they cannot pass in some kind of fashion. Interesting. I think that's the first one where you in the chat actually kind of disagreed. A lot of them seem to be thinking that it's underrated, but it's good to see. Here's another spicy one.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good. Consensus is good for blockchains, but it's not great for communities, right? So how about the Solana Foundation itself, which you are chairman of the board, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
Overrated or underrated in the public appreciation chat? Let me know what you think as well.
Oh man, I feel like there's no way to not get in trouble answering this question. I think that the Solana Foundation was probably overrated in the past. There was so much more perception of what it did, how many people it had. I mean, I think one thing to note is Solana Foundation is dozens of people. It's not hundreds of people. Most L1 foundations and labs organizations are now hundreds or thousands of people, or 1,000 plus people.
Yeah.
It's nothing close to that at Solana Foundation. I would say these days, what I've seen is it is running very lean. It's a very high performance culture, and it's very selfless and low ego, which is hard to produce in a in a nonprofit Swiss foundation, that's supporting an ecosystem that is hundreds of times larger than itself. And what I've started to see is a specialization on the types of things that only the foundation can do. So if Visa wants to do diligence on the blockchain, these days there are a lot of people for them to talk to, but the first call is going to be the foundation. And I think the technical team at the foundation has done an incredible job of fielding those relationships for Visa, Stripe, PayPal, what have you, and that's why you see all this enterprise adoption. On the flip side, I think getting out of the way of the ecosystem and playing a coordination role is incredibly difficult to do well. And one of the areas that I've seen the foundation do really well is just working with exchanges. I think Solana was not seen as a very easy to work with chain for the giant crypto exchange ecosystem and wallet ecosystem in past years. And now it's really a first-class citizen. So I would say, the Solana Foundation is probably underrated because I think it's so good at the things that it's focusing on now. And another one I have to mention is Breakpoint. That's that is hosted by the Solana Foundation. I think we're seeing a lot more community-driven events. This ecosystem call is a virtual event that I would count amongst the top outcomes of that type of work. But there is a really important coordinating function for everyone to show up in the same place at the same time. And I think this year Breakpoint is just going to be incredible. It's the largest one ever, and it doesn't happen without the foundation.
That's true.
Last thing I'll say is, over time, I think foundation becomes more and more irrelevant relative to the size and weight of the ecosystem, and I expect it to kind of fluctuate between underrated and overrated.
Very nice. That's I will say on the Breakpoint side, big shout out to Akshay, BD, and Lily, who are kind of leading the charge there. I've seen the agenda; it is fucking banger. Ellie and the rest of the events team as well. And yeah, for what it's worth, I think that most of the chat seem to agree with you. I thought this would be spicier than it was, but most everyone here. Listen, if you're into kind of super team stuff, you can't be into super team without also being a fan of the Solana Foundation, because it would never have happened without the Solana Foundation, quite frankly. So I think that, all right, we got some good consensus there. I have a few more. We don't have tons of time. Let's do like 2 quick ones. Let's start with this one. Founder mode. This was a big thing that's been on Twitter recently, the Paul Graham essay around what is founder mode versus manager mode. You are, of course, one of the founders of Solana. And so I'm curious, what is your take on founder mode? Overrated or underrated? Chat, let me know what you think as well.
I mean, I think, Tolly and I have always talked about staying in the details enough to have the context when hard decisions need to be made. And I think that's a really important component of founder mode. You have to stay plugged into a lot of things and be relevant enough to turn on the gas in that area if shit hits the fan. Shit doesn't hit the fan that often anymore for something like Solana, but I think in the early days.
Don't jinx it, please don't jinx it.
I have a very steady hand. Over the years I've developed a super steady heart rate. Nothing can really spike my heart rate. So to me, I think what founder mode is about is that sort of pre-product market fit to post-product market fit journey. And I think that the right thing for a founder to do is, I actually tell founders this all the time when they reach their token generation event. Like they say, what should we do differently? I say, don't do anything differently. Like, stay in the details, stay on the product releases, keep shipping, keep, ascribing to the same values that you've had about what you ship and what problems you're solving. That being said, I think on Twitter, it seems like people just use founder mode to mean all kinds of things. Like it just, it just means like,
hey, you being an asshole, being a founder, actually. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like when Steve Jobs passed away and his biography came out and everyone was like, I can be like Steve Jobs, which means, all of my behaviors are justified because he was kind of an asshole. And so I can be too. There's a weird meme about this whole founder mode thing that I haven't quite plugged into. So I'm going to say overrated because, again, I don't know why it's got so much mind share. It just means, staying in the details.
I dig it. All right, man. Well, last question, because I know we're running very short of time, and thank you for joining us today. Of course, leg day. Overrated or underrated? From the man with maybe the biggest biceps on Solana, if that one gun photo is to be believed. Leg day, overrated or underrated?
I have 2 leg days per week, so I think I think arm muscles, biceps, and triceps show better in photos, but leg day can never be overrated. It's super underrated. It's critical for overall body strength and stability, and it boosts your metabolism and promotes fat loss, and leg day is super important.
1 leg per day. Dan Albert says, Dan, we have a little photo of you coming up. So buddy, just don't go anywhere. As a guy who's literally only ever worked out his glamour muscles, like, pecs, biceps, shoulders, I would say it's overrated, but I've also literally never done it. So I'll take your word for it. I don't deadlift my body weight or whatever it is.
We got to get you on some deadlifts. Chat, should we get Kash deadlifting 2x his body weight by 2025? What do you think?
Oh my god! Okay, it was my break point. I was like, I have too much.
No, that would not be safe.
Yeah. Okay. This is. I regret immediately having you on, Raj, because now I have to go to the gym and do this. All right. Fuck it. We're gonna do it. I will start to deadlift. And in January's ecosystem call, I will try to deadlift or show a video of twice my body weight. Is that hard? Is it hard to do twice your body weight? Is that like a big deal?
It's going to be fine. This is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you.
That is not the answer I was hoping for.
Okay.
Okay.
Ecosystem calls are going to be even more pumped up. Love it.
All right. Well, this has taken a bad turn, quite honestly. But Raj, thank you for coming on. Thanks for dropping some nuance and some wisdom on this. We covered ZK compression, celebrity coins, L2s, SVM L2s, the Solana Foundation, founder mode, and leg day. Pleasure. If people want to get in touch, or is there anything that you'd like to plug actually here on the way out?
No, I think I'm really excited to see everyone at Breakpoint. If you don't already have your ticket, you should absolutely go out and buy your ticket. This is going to be the conference that you regret not going to. And if you haven't already gotten your ticket, you're gonna end up getting it. Whether it's 10 days before or 2 days before or the day of or when you get there. So start planning and I'll see you there. And if you have any responses to anything that we talked about on this call, please mention me on Twitter. I'm Raj Gokal. See you all soon.
Yeah, he'll
and
only occasionally threaten to kill you. Only occasionally will he threaten to kill you on Twitter.
I don't do that anymore.
The lawyers got involved. Anyway, it's still my favorite tweet of all time is "I'll kill you." Okay,
people love it. All right, take care.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was fun, folks. What do we think of that in the chat? Should we do that again? Can you drop a little W if we should do overrated, underrated again in the future? That was our first time, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. But only the chat will know. So if we see a bunch of W's, then we'll know to keep it going. Okay, yeah, that's plenty W's. All right, cool. So we will do that again then. Can't even keep up with all of these fast enough. All right, nice. That was a lot of fun, but folks, the fun is going to keep on going. We are not done yet. We got another 17 minutes. Let's see if I can do it and get into the end. All right. This next section, first of its kind, breaking news. We're going to do a section called definitely not financial advice, by which I mean, this is not financial advice. It's right there in the title. Before you do anything, go do your own research. None of this is an incitement to buy a token. None of this should tell you how you should use your portfolio or whatever else. I'm here only to tell you what is happening on the network in ways that will hopefully give you a better thought. Shout out to June, Super Team Germany in the building. Overrated, underrated is itself underrated. That we like. All right. So we'll go in under 10 minutes for sure, just because of how little time we have here. So first thing to note, Solana at a glance. Where are we right now? Total value locked. Listen, you probably have noticed the markets have gone down. They're sideways and down recently. We share you the real truth here. Not only the good news, TVL is down by 12%. Month over month. And indeed, non-voting text transactions, so like real kind of like user transactions, are also down 10% or 11% over month, which is not ideal. You'd like to see more transactions rather than fewer. However, TPS is still at around 900, which is still, miles beyond what anyone else is able to do. And the active wallets numbers actually increased by 8%, which is pretty interesting. So there are more wallets doing less things this month than last month. Maybe related to meme coins, hard to tell exactly. There are nearly 1,400 validators. Stake your goddamn soul. Shout out to the validator community. But there is a 13% decrease in total staking accounts. Another interesting one. So maybe fewer people staking after Sanctum and everything else is gone. Interesting. We need stablecoin issuance on here as well. Oh, Farhaj, my boy. Don't worry. I got something for you coming up, my guy. Alex Scott, shout out to Alex, Super Team UAE lead. Too many people touching grass. That's also possible. Who knows? Get back indoors, get to your computer. Well, here's a few kind of key storylines from a not financial advice perspective that I want to give to y'all. Here's the first one. Real businesses can be built on Solana. There's this popular misconception that the only way to build something on crypto is to build it as quickly as you can, launch a shitcoin, take it and then dump it on all your followers, use them as exit liquidity. That is not actually the way that you can build businesses on Solana. On Solana, in just August alone, Solana projects did more than $50 million in revenue, which is 170% up from January earlier this year. This is not overall fees, folks. These are revenues going into protocol teams' pockets, right? This is a difference from just overall generation of fees. This is actual money in the bank or in the multi-sig, if you will. There are more than 20, I think there's 20, it's more than 20 Solana startups that are doing more than $100,000 a month in revenue right now. That puts them on a $1.2 million ARR rate, which is quite good for a new tech startup. So there's a lot of real businesses that are here on Solana. Of course, the granddaddy of them all is Pump. Pump.fund, the meme coin launchpad, has generated $100 million in fees in just its first 6 months of launch, which is $100 million of revenue, which is pretty incredible. Shout out to JSP in the chat. Do we get that? Oh, we did not actually end up getting the graphic in, but there's a very nice graphic that I'll post after this call that'll show you all the different teams that are actually earning real revenue. So if there's one takeaway from this slide, you can build real businesses in crypto. It is not just about pumping and dumping tokens. I think it's an important thing that a lot of people miss. So I want to make sure everyone's on board with that. Speaking of stablecoins in the chat here, insane people are saying, yes, that's right. Here's another fun fact for you. $2 billion with a B of stablecoins have flowed onto Solana this year. That is because, and again, I'm a little bit biased, but Solana is the best chain for stablecoins. It's fast, it's cheap, it's easy to use. There are great apps and great things that you can do with your stablecoins. Like what, you might answer? Well, Sphere is a great project, previous guest on this ecosystem call, that does cross-border payment solutions. So they help merchants and many others kind of accept and on-ramp and off-ramp USDC. They are currently doing, this is, I think, breaking news if I'm not mistaken, they're doing more than $10 million a day in volume right now across the world, all on Solana. That is real use case, folks. That's not meme coin gambling. That is people using the network for payments, $10 million a day at Sphere, which is pretty incredible. Shout out to Sling. Sling, very nice UX product. You can send money in a message, as they say. They've now enabled cross-border payments in 50 plus countries. As many people know, remittances are a multi-billion-dollar a year industry in terms of fees that people are paying. And oftentimes, these are people that can't really afford to pay the fees, whatever it is, 5 to 10% in some occasions in terms of money fees that are sent against when you send money home, right? Sling makes this easy across 50 different countries now on Solana. And then we have Decaf, shout out to Decaf, a global bank on chain, which now has allowed anybody who uses Decaf to have a US bank account. If you're in the US or if you're in the West, it's maybe easy to think that like, oh, anybody can access dollars. The answer is no, you can't actually. It's quite hard if you're in other countries, particularly if you're in countries with capital controls or countries where you have an unstable currency. It makes a lot of sense to hold dollars in a US bank account. And now with Decaf on Solana, anyone around the world can. You can receive USD as USDC. This is a big deal. All of these are real use cases on Solana that are working today. $2 billion of stablecoins so far this year. Can't help but love the ecosystem. I think that is probably true. Nigerians can't access one easily. Check out Sling and Decaf and as well as Sphere, and then also Scalex. I know in Nigeria is doing some cool things around off-ramping and on-ramping. Definitely a big deal, says your media guy. That's right. Here's another big deal. Solana DeFi is measured in millions and billions. There's a little bit of a play on that Dune metric. Some mind-blowing numbers for you folks of what's going on Solana. Jupiter, the everything exchange, people know it's close to my heart. They're averaging 1.5 to 2 million swaps per day so far this year. That is just absolutely mind-blowing. That is consumer scale, as Raj was talking about earlier. That is what a performant blockchain looks like. And that's pretty incredible if you ask me. It's a very big deal. Camino, another one of the blue chips out here, they just crossed $1 billion in TVL, billion with a B, and they're on their way to 10 billion. They just dropped their V2 white paper. It's great. People should go check that out as well. And then we have Radium. Radium is the largest DEX on Solana right now by volume. $600 million in fees have been earned by their LPs. $600 million, folks. Can you imagine this? These are big, big numbers that are happening on Solana DeFi. Again, I keep saying this because I think it's an important thing to knock down. This idea that, oh, Solana is only popular because of meme coins. No, there's a lot of other good action that's happening here from some great teams. And what you're starting to see is a lot of yield aggregation opportunities growing as well. There are more than 60 Solana protocols that have more than $1 million in TVL, which I think is an interesting thing that speaks to the strength of DeFi. TVL is an imperfect metric. I've always said that. I would maintain that. But it's a useful one insofar as you can understand a little bit of scale. So let's take a look at some of these yield aggregation players. Shout out to Lulo. Yield aggregation vaults. They call themselves the DeFi saving vault. I think Maurice was in the chat here. He's had a growth over there, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty cool. People should check it out. You just deposit once and they'll allocate and find the best yield for you. Then next we have Carrot, which is a similar approach, but within just a token that you hold in your wallet. So they'll find you the best yield every 5 to 10 minutes. They'll rebalance to find the best yield. This is, again, something that's only possible really on Solana, where it's easy and fast and cheap to move those kind of funds around. And you have a multiplicity of a thriving DeFi ecosystem. And then, of course, there's Hawksite, which has been around for a lot longer. Lulo and Carrot a little bit younger. Hawksite's been around for a while, but they have yield aggregation strategies, 1,500 strategies for how you can increase your yield just over there on Hawksite. Again, I cannot say this enough. None of this is financial advice, but these are ways to show you that there are interesting projects that maybe you haven't come across on Solana that are probably worth checking out. They create some real value out here. Let's go next to the DePIN market. I was very surprised to see this number. The DePIN market cap on Solana today, $4.1 billion. This is according to DePIN Hub, which is a great site for DePIN. If you're interested in DePIN, you should go check that out. $4.1 billion. Solana is the DePIN chain of choice in my very biased opinion. And there's tons of great examples. Some of the more established ones like HiveMapper. HiveMapper is the #1 best example to give if you want to convince somebody that crypto has real world value. If you're talking to your uncle or your aunt or your lifeguard or your barber or whatever, and they're like, crypto's a scam, right? Tell them about HiveMapper. Every time I've done it, it changes their mind right away. HiveMapper is building a decentralized Google Maps competitor in one sense. They allow anybody to contribute to the network by putting a dash cam in their car. They have mapped 15 million unique kilometers. That's 25% of the global roads with just this kind of model, which I think is pretty incredible. They're doing it faster than Google Maps did. They're doing it with much higher fidelity. So every day, these maps are getting updated versus Google Maps, which is very oftentimes out of date, creating real value only possible with crypto due to global payments and so many other things. Two other really quick ones here. Tracking and Power Ledger, I think, is starting to do some interesting things. They're a newer project. Tracking, tracing, and trading renewable energy. So a DePIN approach to renewable energy and helping people contribute back to the grid, I think, is very interesting. And then Shaga, shout out to Shaga. These guys have been building on Solana for a long time here. They allow users an easier entry point into PC gaming. They basically allow you to do like kind of cloud-based gaming very efficiently, again, in this DePIN kind of forward manner, which is pretty great. Solana is on fire, says John. That is indeed the kind of feeling that you should get as I'm going through this. It's pretty incredible. Josh, nobody's skipping your comments, I promise you. All right. And then I think this is finally, I want to talk a little bit about real world assets, because I think it's another important thing to kind of have in your mind as you're thinking about what Solana is good for. Everyone talks about real world assets in terms of treasuries, right? Treasuries are government bonds, whether it's from the US or like with Ether Fuse, you can get them in Mexico and other places. In my opinion, this is Kash's opinion now, the alpha is looking at the long tail of real world assets that you can bring on chain, because crypto and permissionless systems in general are beneficial for the long tail. People can get access to treasuries, not easily, but it's possible. Some of the things I'm about to talk about, you have no real way of getting access to. So whether that's DeVin, which is helping unlock wine as an asset class and bringing that on chain as an RWA category, as well as a data play, or Elements, which is bringing mineral rights and oil and gas royalties onto Solana. When would you ever have been able to participate in that kind of ecosystem previously? Never. That's in that long tail that I'm discussing here. Or MetaWealth, which allows you to invest in real estate all over the world with as little as $100, right? These are, and shout out Super Team UK as well on this one. These are the kinds of projects you just can't really see elsewhere as easily. RWAs, I think especially the long tail of RWAs, very much worth looking at. So as a reminder, none of that was financial advice, but hopefully that gave you a little sense of what we're doing across the ecosystem here. Give me a little W in the chat if you think we should do this section again. I was so nervous before doing this because I wasn't sure if this would work at all. So I'd love to know if this actually helped make you feel the way that I feel in terms of excited about Solana. Okay, that's good. That's nice. These are the kinds of W's that we like to see, folks. All right, we'll do this again next time then, in that case. All right, we're running out of time, so I'm going to go very quick now. I'm going to go through shipping season. Let me show you the most beautiful slide in this whole goddamn deck. Ooh, this I love. What are you looking at right now? Hold on, I'm going to make this even bigger. I don't know if you can still, hopefully you can still hear me here. This is the map of all of the places in the world, IRL, that you can meet other Solana builders over the next 4 weeks. Look at this. Basically, all these different countries were underrepresented some places, that's for sure. But there are tons of places for you to ship together with other great people. Look at this here. Just to go through a few of these. Let me bring myself back up as well. Oh, that's too much of me. That's the right amount of me. First, we have the Solana Labs Startup Incubator that's going to be kicking off. It's actually next year, but applications are closing soon, so you should apply. Sanctum went through this. People are very familiar with them, I hope. Shaga, Juicer / Meme Royale, and a few other projects as well. Please do apply. Solana Labs obviously help maintain the network. Really great mentors over there. You should check that out. Next one, Super Team Founders Villa is back. I am going to be there. I hope to see you there as well. I believe there's like a few rooms towards the end. It's almost sold out right now. A shout out to Alex Scott, to Sherry, George, and everybody else at Super Team UAE putting this on. Villa.superteam.fun. After your after breakpoint plans, this is the place to be. Port of Miami just kicked off earlier this week, I think. The co-working space is now open. It is awesome. Thanks to everybody over here. We have a breakpoint coming up, as Raj talked about, so I won't even go into it. Island DAO is back in Thailand from right after breakpoint until October 25th with a bunch of demo day bounties. And of course, we have post breakpoint Bali as well for a week that people should go and check out. So that's a lot of places that you can go find real people to go ship with during this hackathon, and just in general. It's a great place to make friends. I'll also say, don't sleep on all the super team build stations all around the world. There's a lot of them. Again, if you're in any of these countries, you can find all sorts of folks. Matthias, I don't share the deck, but Kugel usually makes a thread, so you'll be able to find that over there. Okay, I know we're running late. I fucking knew it. I almost didn't swear this whole time. I know that we're going to go around late, but I want to do this. This is a new fun game. So this is interactive. So again, if you're watching this live, please do join the YouTube stream or the Twitter stream so you can give some captions in our caption contest. The best ones will get some winners, or we'll get some prizes. I'll tell you that right now. Let's start off with this. This is Dan Albert, Executive Director of the Solana Foundation. Can anybody throw me a good caption for this photo? How would you caption it? Best caption is going to win some prizes, folks. Is there anything that we can say around Dan Albert? I should have gotten the Jeopardy music. Somebody said shit my pants. That's probably not the best one. Are there any captions? The weakest Solana user. Oh, damn, Dujo. That's pretty bullish on the rest of the Solana builders. I got to see. Keeping that TPS up. That's right. That is a fact. Dan works on the validator side of things. Question beast mode, says Alex. I will miss the next meeting. No problem. Yeah, you don't say anything else to him. Unicorn deadlift. Weakest Solana Foundation employee. Picking on the Solana ecosystem is tough. This you see lifting the W's. All right, those are all pretty good. Fuck, we're gonna have to give out a bunch of wins, a bunch of prizes here. That's pretty good. Working out hard enough to keep the Solana Foundation on his shoulders. Stake your goddamn soul. Also good. Cash on day one of his leg day. I appreciate the faith, Esther. Yeah, Dan, look out, I'm coming for you. All right, those are good. Let's try ship the goddamn thing. Let's try this next one here. This is Vibu, co-founder of Drip House at the farm. Do we have any good captions for this photo right here? You can deadlift more than your mom weighs. That is probably true, actually. It's probably true. The last thing you see when you unstake soul. That actually might be the winner. Shout out to Abhisek, the last thing you see for the last photo. Let's see what we have here. We have Goat Riz. Okay. Me and my Solana bounties. Bounties are always going to get some love from me. World record of walking 38 goats. Suck it, Nam. Vibu just outdid you. That's pretty good. You launch your coin on pump.fun. My homies, when they understand Solana. Oh, Roberto, I think I like that one as well. They become goats. And I think that's pretty good. Goats amongst the goat. The goats milk them. Cash and super team members. All right, that's good. Folks, we're keeping track of some of the best ones here, but there's going to be too many. I realize that we're running into a problem here. My milkshake brings all the goats to the yard. Might be my favorite. That might be the winner, though. All right. And then last one here, we have Chase Barker, head of the developer ecosystem of the Solana Foundation, doing his best impression of Pamela Anderson. I'm gonna shit my pants. What is it with people shitting their pants in this chat section here? Any good captions over here? When you win the legendary claim, the vote. Let's see. Goats recognize goats. Flipping awesome. Anything else? Do you want me? That I kind of like, actually. That's nice. Founders and creators, taming the goats. Aquaman lights. Did I hear? Oh, this is nice, Mark. Did I hear someone say Solana project? I could imagine that. Solana Foundation employees after you register for Radar, the Mermaid, Flippin' Coins, Grants and Bounties, and me. All right. This might win as well. Activated founder mode. All right. That was fun. I like that. I like that the chat is so into this kind of stuff and is able to work. Oh, and just some love from Chase coming through as well when I want to impress for the whitelist. That's not bad as well. Here's what we're going to do. The good folks at KAST knew we were going to do this contest, and they wanted to reward everybody that was here. So, folks, if you weren't paying attention, pay attention now, because we have a little giveaway for everybody. Since there was too many good things, we're going to just kind of hopefully give it to some of the best folks, but there's too many good ones. Here's some free money from KAST, everybody. KAST lets you spend crypto as your local currency in 100+ countries. Their card will actually work as Google Pay or Apple Pay, which is pretty incredible. And they're here to give up to $20,000 away to you, all the ecosystem family here. All you need to do is sign up for KAST right now. So the claim window is going to close in the next 20 minutes. So it has to be live. Go sign up right now, kast.finance/Solana, and use the promo code SUPERTEAM. If you do that, your account will get an automatic $20, which I think is pretty sick. And yet an additional $50 for shouting them out on X once you try them out and use them. I think this is kind of cool when you call it network extensions. A boss with a banger to a caption for the Chase photo that I actually really like. But shout out to KAST for sponsoring this. section. I'll tell you this, people come to me all the time and they're like, hey, can we sponsor the ecosystem call and just give you money? And I say, no. Give it to the community. You guys are the ones that create the value. And in crypto, we're all about giving the value to the people that are creating the value. So shout out to the chat here. It might not be available in your country. Apologies if that is the case. But for everybody else, you can sign up for KAST and you can do this right here. If you can't use X, Raphael, just sign up. You'll still get $20 and you can start to use it and feel the magic of stablecoins on Solana. This is pretty good. Kash is like Oprah. Shout out to Malu. That's right. You come to the ecosystem call, you get rewarded for your loyalty to the ecosystem. All right, we're getting very, very late here. So I'm going to start to move forward. If people need this, you can join the Solana OGs Telegram group. I'll have a slide for that later, and we can help you troubleshoot at all. But again, big shout out to the homies over at KAST for making this happen. I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's go over to work to earn real fast. Some cool bounties for you. If you are a Solana developer or you want to become a Solana developer, $17,000 bounty. Shout out Mike McKenna from the Solana Foundation putting this one up. Updating the Solana developer lessons. This is good for you and it's good for the ecosystem. Earn.superteam.fun to go participate in that. Another $5,000 project. This one is a pretty big deal, folks. Build Solana payments for Relay DePIN deployers. Relay is a platform for decentralized wireless, another DePIN project, and they need your help to kind of build out their roadmap. And I think this is super cool for the GigaChad devs here. $5,000 to contribute to a network like this is a real opportunity. Go check that out on earn.superteam.fun. There's a new job at Grass as a full stack engineer. They're building the data layer of AI. People are probably familiar with them at this point, especially on Twitter over the last few days. So definitely encourage people to go check that out. And as a reminder, if you have a project and you need Solana native talent, go use Super Team Earn. There are now 37,000 registered users on it. Not just like people who use the site, registered users, emails and all. More than $1 million has been earned on Super Team Earn. So if you want to earn in crypto, go to Super Team Earn. And if you have people that you need, or if you have problems that you need solved, go to Super Team Earn. Just reach out to me. I will personally help you out there as well. All right, I have a section called reading recommendations, but I realized that we're already late. So should I do this? Yeah, I'll do it. All right, I'm going to do it very, very quickly though. Basically, I want to shout out whenever I give a talk in real life, like if I give a talk from the stage, my reading recommendations are always the number one thing that people take photos of. So I figured that must be adding some real value. So I wanted to do that here for you folks as well, really quickly, so that you have some kind of, I don't want to call it homework, but some kind of value add homework after the call. Number one, if you are new to crypto, really excited to announce Backpack Learn is out. Learn.backpack.exchange. The Backpack boys have been friends to the ecosystem for a long time. They have written 30 plus guides on everything you need to know in crypto. So if you're here at a watch party and you're like, what the fuck is Kash even saying right now? Go to learn.backpack.exchange and you will be able to get up to speed, my friend. I highly encourage that. Second one, if you want to be a better investor, read this right here. This is by a guy named Kobe. If you're an OG in crypto, you know who Kobe is. And if you don't, you might not. But he is arguably one of the greatest traders and one of the biggest personalities in crypto for many years now. He wrote this banger essay called On the Meme of Market Caps and Unlocks. It's years old at this point. But in my opinion, especially if you're new to the space or you want to understand how to invest better, not necessarily trade better, but invest for a longer term time frame, it's essential that you understand market caps, FDVs, and unlocks. And this is a great essay. You can read it in 5 minutes. It has beautiful art like this that you will very much enjoy. If you want to be more convinced of crypto, listen, the markets are down right now and it can be easy to get burnt out or it can be easy to be like, oh, this shit was all a scam or whatever else. If you need to reaffirm your own conviction or if you want to have language that you can use to help convince other people to get into crypto, go read the Crypto Mega Theses by Multicoin Capital. Shout out to Kyle Samani, Tushar, Vishal, all the homies over there, Cheyenne, and so on. It's a 5-year-old piece. It's not a new piece. They wrote it in 2019. And it still bangs. I just reread it the other day, and it just got me more excited about crypto. And I think it's really awesome. You can just Google it, and we're putting the link in there as well, which is pretty great. And then we have, if you're raising funds, this is a must read. This is maybe the best fundraising essay I've ever read. How to Raise $20 Million for Your Startup by the Brain Trust founders. 6-week, step-by-step plan. It is awesome. You will absolutely love it, I got to tell you. And with that said, we're going to get into the last section of the call today. Thank you all for waiting. And this is what I'm excited about. It's our first time ever doing this. But we're going to end with a little interactive quiz to see how well you were paying attention. There are, of course, some prizes for you. So we're going to be using Chomp. So I'll give people a second here to go to app.chomp.games or scan this QR code right now. Either way will work. And what we're going to do is ask a few trivia questions. And your goal will be to say, hey, what is the right answer? And then also, what would other people think the right answer would be? because we want to try to benefit from the wisdom of crowds here, which I think is pretty interesting. Why is it not available for Nigerians? That I don't know, actually. But shout out to Chomp. Hopefully they'll be getting that going very soon. The top 10 in the leaderboard will win some bonk and then additional rewards as well. So make sure you do this. It'll be a fun little thing. We'll see who paid attention here. Chomp, super cool, out of Super Team Germany initially, but also collaborating with many other super teams. So wanted to give them a love here. App.chomp.games, folks, go over there. Cash prizes for you. I'll give you another 30 seconds. I'll give you another 10 seconds to get over there before I've gone so far over. Wow, we have 11,000 people on the stream on Twitter, which is pretty crazy. And 250 on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. All right, people are on Chomp. Here we go. So we're going to ask the questions here. You answer it in Chomp. Winners will get real cash prizes, and we'll see how well you paid attention here. Question number 1. I should have put on my Alex Trebek suit or something like that. How many validators does Solana have as of September 1st, 2024? Is it 5,000 plus? Is it 1,200 plus? Is it 1,150? Or is it 700? What is the answer? Put in your answers in Chomp. Chomp is saying that if you are in Nigeria, you can access it. You might have to go through your Phantom Wallet browser for it to work. That might work. And the answer, don't say the answer in the chat. We'll get the answers will all be revealed in the app. And we don't want to help anyone because the best people will get prizes. That's question number 1. Question number 2. Cumulative fees earned by Pump.fund so far in their lifespan. Or this year, I should say. $1 billion. $1 billion. $500 million. $100 million or $50 million. How much has Pump.fund earned so far? You can answer that over on the Chomp quiz. I think people are just misleading each other in the chat right now. It's not interesting to see these PvP dynamics as soon as there's a little bit of money on the line. All right, let's go over to question number 3. Over blank amount of stablecoins have entered the Solana ecosystem since January 2024. Is it 2 billion plus? Is it 1 billion plus? Is it 500 million? Or is it $100 million? How much has come onto the Solana ecosystem? The right answer is obvious. And then question number 4, Hive Mapper has mapped over what percentage of the global road network? Is it 50%? Is it 25%, 15%, or 10%? Put in your answers right now. If you're just coming to us right now, this is app.chomp.games. You can participate in this one as well and earn some prizes and ensure that you know what's going on in the ecosystem. It's a nice way to kind of consolidate the learnings so that it sticks with you. People are saying B, C, B, C, 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 B, 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 Solana on top. Also true. Final question. How many Solana Blinks have been shipped since their launch? This is a tricky one. 500 plus, 350 plus, 250 plus, or 100 plus? What is the right answer? We'll let people put it in there real fast. Ooh, all right. I think that should be it. And the winners will be identified within the app very soon. Go follow Chomp on Twitter. I'm sure that they'll announce some of the winners as well. Go get that bonk. Go check out Chomp. They're pretty cool. Friend of the family, friend of the Super Team family. Shout out to KZ and the rest of the folks over there. All right, folks. That is going to be about it for us today. I appreciate you coming out. I know this has been a little bit long, but hopefully you feel like it was a good one. I certainly feel like it was a good one. If you want this beautiful POAP, shout out to Srijani, best artist on Solana, putting out this beautiful work here. All you got to do is take your normal camera, scan this QR code, and you will get this beautiful POAP delivered to your wallet in the next hour or two, folks. It is pretty great stuff. I'll leave that up for a little bit. Shout out to TipLink, who's powering this whole experience, making it nice and easy as well. In 3, 2, 1. And shout out to everybody that has all the POAPs. I should do something. I'm going to figure out something to do for everyone that has more than like 10 POAPs. If you have more than 10 POAPs, stay tuned. I'll figure out something cool for you as well, because I want to reward the people that have been so loyal and faithful all this time. The link is in the chat as well. Kuga has all the POAPs. I don't have any of the POAPs, ironically. But if you enjoyed this, make sure to join us IRL next month. There are, again, 80 watch parties around the world where people are getting together, talk Solana, do all this other kind of good stuff. You can find that over at app.getriver.io/superteam, or just go to ecosystemcall.com. Make sure to join us on Telegram if you haven't already. If you have any questions or problems with the KAST claim or the Chomp quiz, or you just want to talk more about Solana. We have bounties in there. We have jobs in there. We have a shill yourself section in there. And basically, I mean, it's got like 2,000 people who have been in and around the Solana ecosystem for a long time. So please do join us if you haven't already. And with that, I will say thank you so much for coming. My name has been, and hopefully will continue to be, Kash Donda. I am the Sherpa of Super Team. It's my pleasure to have you here. Go follow at Super Team for more good stuff. And special shout out to all the people that made the dream work here. Srijani, Chris, who helps with all the IRL stuff. Gumshoe, who was a big help on the Definitely Not Financial Advice section, one of the best researchers in crypto. You should definitely follow him. Arushi, killer designer, awesome. And Yoda Pun, new in the gang, but jumping in right at the last minute to help out, and much appreciated. All right, folks, that is it for me today. I will stick around and look at the chat if anyone's got anything else to say. Otherwise, we'll catch you soon. Thanks. Learned so much. Actually, let me know. What did you think of this new format? So we didn't do as many guests this time, and I just tried to talk more things about Solana to cover more ground. Was it worth it? Did it work? Do you prefer the guests? Let me know what you think in the chat here. But thanks to everybody for coming out here as well. Love the format, says Maurice. If you like the format, let me know. The sun never sets on Super Team. That is a fact. Was great. W format, amazing. Okay, cool. Play the song again. I should play the song on the way out. Okay, I can do that. People loved it. Oh, people liked the Caption section. That was the biggest thing. I wasn't sure if people would actually like that one. So I'm really glad to hear about that. Oh, and then there's, of course, the Kohack that is coming up as well that somehow got skipped in the slides. But the Kohack also coming up as an IRL thing that people can do to build together. Follow the @SuperTeam handle and you'll be able to see that. You can also apply to host a Kohack in your own city if you are so engaged, which is pretty great. Based Cash and team, thanks. This was great. I have so much to read. It was so fast. I have to read through it. Yeah, it was pretty fast. New info. You're the best. All right. Excellent. Thank you very much to everybody. Forgot to shout out the Solana Economic Zone. I would never forget. Solana Economic Zone right over. Whoa, where'd it go? Shipping season right here. There we go. More info dump. I like the part where you gave free monies. Yeah, you and me both, boss. You and me both. That seems good. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for us this time around. I will see you all hopefully in Singapore. If you do see me in Singapore, come up and say hello. That's like my favorite part of like going to these real life conferences is meeting everybody from all over the world in one place. So please don't be shy. I'd love to meet you in person. Not a financial advisor is the best part. Nice. All right. Well, listen, you don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. I will see you in Singapore. Go get your Breakpoint tickets. Thank you very much, everybody. Good